Alright, UFC 311, Moicano versus Makhachev just wrapped up, and man, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get to talking about it. First, we gotta start with the main event, obviously just ended about 30 seconds ago at the time of recording. Um, it ended about how I expected it to go. I did predict a Islam Makhachev KO. That's not what we got. We got the takedown immediately into a Darce choke, immediate tap. Um, I believe in his last fight, Moicano did injure that shoulder very badly. I recall like an image of his collarbone sticking up, just disconnected. So I'm not surprised that the Darce is good there. That puts a lot of pressure both on the neck and on the shoulder. So I'm not sure if that's something that they specifically went after, because this is Islam's second Darce choke win in a row in title fights, which is crazy in itself because that's not the most common submission by far. But it's the right one to go for, especially against a guy like Renato Moicano. So well done to you, Islam Makhachev. Honestly, Moicano started the round better than I expected. Arguably winning in the exchanges with the low kicks, putting in some good ones. And then he dropped Islam Makhachev. I don't care what the commentary said about off balance. He dropped him. He landed that straight really well. He dropped him. But immediately after that, Islam kind of realized, what am I doing striking with this guy? Even though he probably would have beat him in the striking eventually. Take him down, sub him. That's that. A bit anticlimactic, but still another title defense for Islam. Breaks the record, breaks Habib's record. Pretty much undisputed lightweight GOAT at this point. I think he does have a much better resume than Habib at this point too. But much more interesting than that, in my opinion, was this 5-round battle that we saw from Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Now you might say, Umar and Merab in a battle? Yes, this was a battle. For the most part, the wrestling canceled out, at least until the last couple of rounds. A lot of kind of nasty amateurish striking on the feet, but these guys were both going forward when they could, both putting a lot of power in their strikes if they weren't the best technique in the strikes, if they weren't doing the most damage. But in my opinion, Umar started well, won the first 2 rounds pretty closely but pretty clearly. Doing a lot better, way more dynamic in the striking, landing some kind of glancing body kicks, keeping Merab busy with the kicks to the head, and just stuffing everything that Merab was throwing at him. I did predict Umar to win this fight. He clearly did not. I've seen some people saying Umar won this fight. No, that's not true. Merab clearly won this fight, rounds 3, 4, and 5. In 3, Merab started to target the body, which I think was a big thing for him. But mainly, it's just the way that Merab wins every single one of his fights. It's cardio, it's persistence, it's pressure. But I do have to say, I think his striking was more useful in this fight than it has been in other fights. Now, I did just say it looked amateurish, and that's true. But when he was landing, he landed a few short right hooks to the jaw of Umar. One in the 5th round that rocked him badly. I think that was probably the biggest strike of the fight that was landed. Some good short right hooks to the body, which helped to kind of put Umar out of his comfort zone, drag him into those deep waters in the 4th and 5th round, where Merab completely dominated. Ridiculous in that 5th round. Merab was taking him down at will. This is a Nurmagomedov that we're talking about, emoting on him, kind of doing the, oh man, what's that? Pointing at him, laughing at him. Merab is a different beast. The only thing that's going to beat Merab at bantamweight at this point is age, and we got to talk about it. At this point, Merab should be the undisputed bantamweight GOAT. I don't want to hear about Dominic Cruz at this point, okay? Merab has beaten Piotr Yan. He's beaten Umar Nurmagomedov. He's beaten Sean O'Malley. He's beaten Henry Cejudo. He's beaten Jose Aldo. This guy's beaten anybody and everybody, all different types and styles, and that's mainly just using his cardio, using his pace as a weapon. Not only that, but this guy has started to show better technique with his wrestling. He's getting more of his wrestling takedowns instead of just shooting an infinite amount of them. Merab looked amazing tonight. I don't see who beats him. The only way he loses if he starts to slow down. He just looked ridiculous tonight. Let's move down the card. And I have to say it, this was an amazing card, to be honest. Main event, a bit underwhelming, but you could kind of expect that when we have the late notice pullout. Still pretty good considering that. This fight, absolutely amazing. 3-round war with a finish. I think Jiri looked the superior fighter in every round, although I would say Jamahal won that 2nd round. The main thing for Jiri, the adjustment, it's the head movement. Man, I saw a lot of jokes before this about Jiri blocking punches with his head. some of that isn't even jokes. He legitimately blocks body punches with his forehead, which is interesting. But in this fight, he looked like Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, that's a stretch, but that's how he wanted to look, and it was working for him. Jamahal Hill didn't land much of consequence. A couple kind of short lefts, maybe a couple straight rights, but Jiri landed all of the better shots. Dropped Jamahal in the first round, dropped him a couple times in the third round, ended up finishing him with a pretty clean TKO. And yeah, Jiri looks, in my opinion, the best he ever has. I'm not sure where he goes from here because he clearly doesn't deserve another fight with Alex Pereira. Plus that fight with Magomed just got announced for him. So, bit of a weird situation at light heavyweight right now, but there are a lot of fun matchups for both Jiri and Jamahal Hill. I'm sure Roundtree will be in the mix. Winner and loser of Carlos Olberg versus Jan Blachowicz will be in the mix. But for now, Jiri, enjoy your win. That was probably the fight of the night. Maybe. Also a sick finish. This main card was amazing, to be honest. Aside from the main event, which was also good finish, but a bit underwhelming. This would go down as maybe the best main card of all time, because man did these fights deliver. Let's talk about Jailton Almeida versus Serghei Spivac. Started a bit rough for Jailton Almeida when Serghei Spivac was the one getting his takedowns, but Jailton Almeida was able to reverse. When you put a heavyweight on their back, and they're not a fit one, like an Aspinall, like a John Jones, like a Gane, even Gane, but like an Almeida, they're going to struggle. So when Jailton Almeida was able to reverse those takedowns that Serghei Spivac got, you knew he was kind of going to win this fight. But what I liked from Jailton Almeida, what really won him this fight is in the first round, after a grappling exchange where he did get the better of it eventually after being taken down, he was able to rock Serghei Spivac badly, and I believe able to just TKO him. Good win. It's good to see some good striking out of him. That was right out the ends of the first round too. Man, it feels like hours ago that happened. Feels like yesterday. So much has happened since then. But good win by Jailton Almeida. He'll be moving up the rankings. He called out Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane, take that fight. You robbed Volkov. I know it's not your fault, but this is the fight that should be made. I think Jailton Almeida wins that the same way John Jones beat Cyril Gane. So, like I said in one of my previous videos, I do see Jailton Almeida eventually challenging Tom Aspinall for the title, especially because who else is there that Tom Aspinall hasn't beaten? Cyril Gane versus Jailton Almeida to see who gets to fight Aspinall after Aspinall fights Jones. Win or lose, Aspinall will be the guy up there because Jones is going to retire in the off chance that he beats Aspinall. Anyway, let's move on to the last fight. This is just a quick wrap up. Tomorrow I'm going to do my 7 things we learned from UFC 311 where I'll get more in depth, talk more about the prelims, but this is the opener of the main card, Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. Reinier de Ridder obviously with the first round submission. This is what I predicted. Holland, just his heart isn't in it anymore, you can tell, and he's never been the best on the ground. So that combination not good against an elite grappler like Reinier de Ridder. Took him down, submitted him pretty easily. I don't think there was a single strike thrown. Well, I don't know why it's saying 59-28 here. This fight wasn't standing on the feet in any significant portion of it. Reinier de Ridder just took him down. A little bit of ground and pound, submitted him. Easy win for de Ridder. He'll move on up the rankings, and the UFC will probably track him up a little bit because middleweight isn't the deepest division. We don't have the most contenders there. Kevin Holland, on the other hand, I don't see him ever being ranked again. I don't think he has the heart for it. I think he's been exposed too much where he's weak, unfortunately, because he is a fun guy. But Reinier de Ridder himself is a fun guy. Kind of weird, but he has a fun fight style. Probably about as fun as it gets for a grappler. So, great main card. Let's just talk about what happened with Payton Talbott real quick, because this shocked a lot of people, including me. I wasn't very high on Payton Talbott coming into it, but I did think that he would beat Raoni Barcelos, as did almost everybody. I think he was like a -1,000 favorite going into this one. Man, he just got smoked by Raoni Barcelos. Lost every round in my opinion. Got close to being choked out multiple rounds, including the first round. He just had nothing on the ground. He had nothing in the takedown defense. And when he did get it stood up, his shots weren't snappy. They didn't look dangerous. This fight was basically over after the first round. Pretty sad to see from a guy that had so much hype like Payton Talbott. I'm just not sure he has the mentality for it, I hope he does. I hope he'll be back, but for now, he's going to have a long way to go before he even thinks about coming back into the title picture. Let's just go over these prelims quickly. We had a Azamat Bikoev TKO on the ground. Zachary Reese started out landing some really, really good elbows and hammer fists from his back, but you're not going to be able to sustain that from your back. Eventually, Azamat Bikoev was able to get those good shots off from standing. He won by TKO. Bogdan Kuskov won kind of a super weird anticlimactic finish. Billy Elikana just kind of shelled up against the fence. Bogdan Kuskov landed like 30 strikes against the fence, but he just wasn't ending that fight, and Billy Elikana just wasn't fighting back. So eventually he just kind of put in a guillotine. Billy Elikana was kind of happy to have that way out, tapped immediately. Grant Dawson dominates in the grappling against Carlos Diego Ferreira. Gets a kind of boring decision win, but looks pretty good. I don't care. Reinier Nakamura, kind of exposed by Moon Gafarov. Didn't use his wrestling at all. Loses his O. I was wrong about that one. Bernardo Sopaj, kind of a run-of-the-mill decision against Ricky Tercios, but good win, good comeback win. And then I didn't catch this one, Tigger Lundbeka versus Clayton Carpenter. I was busy. I'll look into it more tomorrow. But anyway, awesome event, super fun. Glad I could watch it. Glad you guys could watch it. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about Umar losing to Merab. Let me know how you think Islam's victory was. Let me know what you think is next for Prochazka and Hill. And just, yeah, let me know. I'm happy to talk to you guys. Anyway, have a great night. Thanks for watching.